My name's Hannah, and in this video I'm going to give you a couple tips and tricks on taking care of your houseplants. I think a lot of people love houseplants, want houseplants, but maybe don't know exactly how to make them look beautiful and thriving. And let's face it, it's not really, satisfying or joyful watching a plant suffer and wither and die. So we want them to be happy plants, right? Happy plants, happy people. So let's start with a plant that needs a little help. This is a bromeliad that I've had for a long time, and I did get this from a funeral. It already flowered and it's starting to make its little pups, or its little babies, and they need to be taken away and given their own pots for them to be able to really flower and do well. So I'm gonna start, I like to just put, well actually let me start by saying that when you're working with houseplants, I personally think it's usually easiest to just get a tarp, a clean tarp, and put it down over the floor where you're working in. Keeps all the dirt contained. You don't have to carry huge heavy plants outside back and forth. That to me is more work than just laying down a clean tarp on your floor and then working over that. And then when you're done, fold it up, bring it outside, shake it out, and you're good. You would never even know. So I am in my living room right now. There's a pile of dirt on my floor, and we're gonna get started. So I like to put my fingers over top of the plant, and then you can just give a little squeeze and tap, and then it usually just falls out. So now you gotta get your fingers in there, work it a little bit. All right, this is the pup that I'm left with, and as you can see, there's really not very much roots to it compared to the mom. So we're gonna have to make sure we keep this one watered so it can grow some roots of its own. So let's start with a pot. Take your pot that you have for the new plant, start putting dirt in it about halfway full, or however big your roots are, that's about how far you want to fill it with dirt. I like to pat it down just a little bit because when you water it, it's gonna get kind of compacted anyway. All right, put your plant in your pot. Make sure it's a good depth, a good level. That looks pretty good, I think. And then fill in the rest. Plants will appreciate getting new soil. If they're not looking so good, a lot of the times that can be the problem. It's that soil gets compacted. A lot of times plants are just grown in peat moss, and when you buy them, and years go by, plants just stuck in that same old pot. Gotta give it new, fresh home. It's like moving into a new house for a plant. So now, got the soil all down in there. Gotta use nice potting soil. What you want is a mixture that you can squeeze and it can still crumble. If it gets compacted, then the plant will not be able to get oxygen to its roots as well as the moisture that it needs. And so that's why it's really important to use good potting soil and not just dirt that you get from outside. You really can't take garden soil and use it in a pot, especially if there are a lot of critters and bugs in the soil. They'll come into your house and eventually they will cause problems. Some of them are okay, but in general, clean potting soil. Another thing I like to do with my potted plants is take some moss and just put it on top around the base of the plant. And not only does it look really nice, but it really helps keep the moisture in the soil. And basically, rule of thumb, water your potted plants once a week, maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less. Give them food. You have to feed your plants. Plants need nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. So get some fish poop fertilizer is really good if it's organic, OMRI listed, something like that, or just whatever. Miracle Grow is fine for your potted plants. But give them food, and they will thank you for it. I'm going to make sure I water this right away. I'm going to keep some water in the little cup of the bromeliad. They like that. And yeah, I think it's going to be a lot happier now. So, good luck with your plants.